So I'm sure a lot of people ask this question, but with the announcement coming out that Stu Grayson, formerly of the Dark Order, the partner of Evil Uno, if you will, with Stu Grayson basically telling AEW that he is done, that he is going to be a free agent because they couldn't meet his demands. They couldn't meet his price point, if you will. It does beg to ask the question, and that question is, to altogether, is AEW and by extension the Ring of Honor roster too bloated? Because it's one thing to want to sign all these talents that become available or are available that have been in WWE and Impact and New Japan and whatnot, and having it all, and bringing them on so they could showcase what they're capable of doing. That's great to do that. It's great to do that and give them that opportunity. That's one thing. But it's another to do it while you have a roster that's kind of already being criticized as being, too bloated. And, because it's too bloated, there's not enough space for everybody to showcase, their abilities, be given the opportunities that they were promised. I mean, an example that Alex used when he was talking about this today, in a video editorial, an unedited video editorial, which he's going to be doing, I guess, from now on as a side series. He brought up Ruby Soho, the former Ruby Riott in WWE. Now, he talked about how, she was pretty much pushed from the get-go when she arrived. Winning the Casino Battle Royal, headlining a main event match with the, at the time, AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker at Arthur Ashe Stadium and such. He brought all this up, and he even brings up the fact that, hey, she's in the Owen Hart tournament. She made it to the finals of the TBS title tournament. He brings this all up, and these are all good things to bring up. But he also basically mentions the fact that lately, besides these exceptions, she has been seen mostly on Dark and Dark Elevation. Those being YouTube channels. Well, not channels, but YouTube shows on AEW's channel. YouTube channel, that is. And, in a way, he kind of understands where guys like Stu Grayson, might be coming from. Why, AEW would want to try to retain someone like him. Because they see value in him. They see, a value in a guy like Stu Grayson. They see somebody they can rely on, they could eventually push. But unfortunately, he's not at the standard that's been established. He's not, basically hit that bar that's been set by the likes of a Danielson, a Punk, a Page, an Omega, you name it. He hasn't hit that ceiling. And that basically, in reality, he's kind of in the same veins of a Ruby Soho. And that is, he might be talented, he might be great, to be put into certain spots here and there. But the reality is, Ruby, is not on the level of a Britt Baker. She's not on the level of a Thunder Rosa or a Jade Cargill and all that. She's not on that level, yet. Despite the fact that she was part of a very popular team in WWE with Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, the Riot Squad, she's not at that level, even outside of WWE. And, and the thing is, someone like Alex sees that. He sees that, as an issue. He sees that as as an issue, if you will. And the issue being that the roster is too bloated. And if the roster is too bloated, then not many people are going to want to stay, even if the company wants to keep you. And because they don't want to stay, even if the company wants to keep you, it's going to cause frustration. It's going to cause, people to be like, okay, you want to keep me, well, then here's my asking price, because if you, out of basically a massive roster, is someone they have eyes on retaining, then obviously, like I said, they see value in you. But your mindset is, well, if they see value in me, why am I not being showcased that much along with my partner or my group? Why aren't we put into featured storylines anymore and stuff like that? So honestly, one could probably not blame Stu Grayson for the asking price of whatever it was he asked for that, AEW, shot him down on, causing him to leave. But again, it does answer the question. Are people like Stu Grayson, leaving, Joey Janela leaving, Marco Stunt being let go, respectfully on both sides, if not maybe his own agenda, Big Swole and all that, do you think that the reason, they're leaving isn't because of issues behind the scenes, whether they're political, racial, whatever? Do you think maybe it's because the roster is just too bloated and the opportunities they were promised, they're not getting, and they're being regulated to shows like Dark and Dark Elevation and maybe by extension Rampage? Do you think maybe that's why, these people are leaving, because the rosters are too bloated, for AEW and by extension Ring of Honor? I think honestly it is. Because if my job kept hiring people and people for the same position or similar positions and all that, I would feel like, yeah, the roster is over bloated. It's over bloated, or the roster itself is over bloated, and I can't find work. I can't get my hours. And I'd probably want to leave too. Or I'd be like, well, if you want to keep me here, give me a position that's more worthy of my time, and if they can't do that, then I'd want to leave too. But do you think that's the reason? I think it might be. But let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know down below in the comments, as well as on the live chat during the premiere, and I am out.